Welcome back to the Doug and Commish Show. And again, we would like to thank Chris for spending some time with the Doug and Commish Show. It was a very good interview. Anyway, let's get right to the playoffs. This is round one. We've obviously got a bye week for the Soldier and Trash. But the games we're going to be covering here are the 3-6 game, pinning the Beans versus Eric Hippel's Nipples. And we've also got the Greatest Show, the 5 seed going against the 4 seed White Trash. So we'll cover the Beans first.
Sure.
And get started with that. Now, as far as the Beans goes, Fox had put out, when they found out who got the game, you did some research on this one.
Well, I was talking to one of my ins at Fox Network, and they were so disappointed when they woke up and found out that Nips got in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Because they were really wanting Sass because he's on a tear, he's scoring points, he's putting on a late season push to become a winner. His team is way more exciting to watch. They were devastated to find out that the Nips is in the playoffs with that roster.
Well, when you're looking at his roster, one unique thing, and in the interview he talked about how he had some surprises.
Yep, some things up his sleeve.
And one of the things up his sleeve was 2 Green Bay running backs against the Lions.
Yes.
Commish, how do you feel about this move as far as a GM?
It's a little risque, but I understand what he's doing. One of those 2 is going to get in the end zone probably multiple times, so I understand what he's doing. You can't hate on him. He is the defending champion. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't take that away. So maybe he knows something that we don't know because whatever he touches seems to turn into a winner.
Okay. He's probably going to need a really big day from Breeze and Moore, one of those big days where they're able to hook up.
They've had them before, Doug. They've had multiple games this year where they've hooked up for 40 and over touchdowns. That is a must for the Nipple this week.
They are going against the Rams. The Rams have an improved defense, but nothing special.
No, it's doable.
And he's got the Ravens going up against Houston. You never really know what Ravens you're going to get.
You don't. It could be the Ravens that played against Buffalo that gave up almost 40 points, or it could be the Ravens you saw against the Steelers. Mm-hmm. Tough to say.
Now, with the Ravens matchup, you look at Houston. Houston is vulnerable for some turnovers on Matt Schaub's part of it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a good thing in it. They've got the Reed back there and Lewis. They're all capable of returning those turnovers for touchdowns.
On the Bean side of things, Peyton Manning coming off of 11 interceptions in 3 weeks.
Mercy.
Luckily for the Bean, he hasn't necessarily had to have him show up as big as he has earlier in the year.
Smug.
But really, when it comes down to it, what do you look on the Bean's roster that you like?
I like a lot of what the Bean has. I mean, I like his starters. I like his matchups this week, and I also like the versatility that he has on his bench. He's got Johnson on the bench. He's got Welker on the bench. And I don't even know if they'll stay on the bench. Mm-hmm. They have scrumptious matchups. I like everything that Bean has going on. It would be an epic failure. The largest failure ever in the history of the GFO if Doug doesn't win this game.
All right. Vegas has this game.
Right now, I believe it's 70.5 is not the over-under. 70.5 is the line.
Yeah. So who do you take in this matchup?
I'm going with the Beans. Chris deserved to get here based on his record, sure. I get that. Drew Brees is awesome. All that. I get all that. But Doug has made some moves that has put him in a spot to be the most dangerous team in the playoffs. I'm going with that. I voted for the Doug to be the GM of the year. I can't not pick my GM of the year and the hottest team in the GFO to win this game against what I would classify as a piss-poor lineup for the Nips.
On the other side of things, going to paper and White Trash. This one has a little bit closer. For a while there, they were looking at it, and this was a scrumptious matchup, and a lot of people had White Trash running away with this one.
Yep.
And when you look at the line, Vegas has actually adjusted their line quite a bit and made this a lot closer.
And CBS is excited that they didn't get shafted with the Nips Bean game. They got this game. Mm-hmm. The ratings will be hot for this one. This is the game to watch. It's going to be a great game. It's got a lot of storylines in it as these two GMs don't love each other. Mm-hmm. Going to be a little pregame talk. Although they're sexting a little bit right now, trying to play coy. I think that the discussion will heat up in the next couple days as one of them will probably grow a pair. But it's going to be a great matchup. Good football this week.
On White Trash, he has Michael Turner going against Carolina. That's a very, very good matchup for him. But you've got T.O. Going against Pittsburgh. You've got Calvin Johnson going against Green Bay. And you got Deshaun Jackson going against a much improved Dallas team. These aren't the matchups that I think White Trash is hoping for for his wide receivers.
It can't be. And Calvin Johnson is that type of guy that you just can't bet against completely. But, I mean, let's be honest, folks. Stanton blows. And if it wasn't for one big play, Calvin would have been under 5 points. So let's bring this down a notch, and let's look at this realistically. Woodson is going to dominate him. They're going to take away his outside game, and Woodson can hang with Calvin. Hang, not dominate. And Stanton blows. So, again, same as last week. Unless he gets some 40-yard bomb that puts up a lot of points.
You don't see it happening.
I don't see a 5-point game out of Calvin this week. T.O. going against Pittsburgh, the best defense in football. I don't see a big game there either.
Yep. Flacco is going against Houston. A decent matchup for his quarterback there.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely getting some love on that side. For paper, he is Kyle Orton. Now, Kyle Orton has a new coach. What do you think that does for the new, or are they going to change things up? Are they going to be more conservative? Are they going to be more throwing the ball? What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, here's the thing, Doug. I was talking to him today. And first of all, his name is Studesville, not Studsville. He was a little upset that I called him Studsville. So I'm not sure if the info that he gave me is accurate, but he said that the offense is going to stay the same. I'm not sure if I offended him calling it Studville.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with what he told me. As Studesville has never lied to me before, I'm going to say that it stays the same. They don't want to mess it all up this late in the season.
Arian Foster is going against Baltimore. So you do have a difficult matchup for Foster, but it hasn't seemed to stop him this year.
He is the one player in the NFL that's matchup proof. But you will have to downgrade the mid-20s, bring him back down into the teens versus mid-20s.
And you've got, on the other side of things, he's got Nix and Steve Smith. If either of these guys go, do you replace maybe an Anthony Armstrong with them, or do you go ahead and play these guys? It's a risky thing, because what if these guys get hurt halfway through the game? It's a very important game.
And that's the question you're getting on all these tweets. That's the big question for the show. I would replace either one of those if they're playing for Anthony Armstrong. Manning versus McNabb in a piss-poor offense. You got to play who got you here, and that's Nick Hicks. Nix, whatever the freak his name is. That's your guy.
I believe it's Nix.
Nick. He's been gone for so long. I'm sorry. That's where it's at. You play one of those two. Steve Smith practice was supposed to do 25%, lit it up to about 70% today. So you got to play one of those.
All right. In this matchup, who do you see winning?
I tell you, I'm probably one of the few people in the GFO and in Vegas that sees this game going to the show. I'm taking the show behind the Foster and behind the newly acquired driver who hasn't done crap all year. Literally owns the city of Detroit and everything inside it. I'm taking the show with White Trash's horrible offensive matchups and the show's good matchup where it counts. I'm taking the show in a close one.
All right. The other game that we have going on, it's not really an actual game, but it is the bye-week game.
Annual Trash.
Trash versus Soldier. Which week?
It's the annual
Trash versus Soldier, which isn't annual because 2 or 3 years ago it didn't happen.
It's annual.
But that said, with this matchup, obviously it's for dinner. What do you got?
It's an easy one. I mean, I own Trash. I own Trash and I own the Soldier.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is a lay-me-down game. Free lunch for Trash.
All right. Well, that's it. We'll be back next week with the results from the first round of the playoffs for the loser bracket. You guys should have won so that we could talk about you. And that was the commission's call. So we'll see you next week.